A revocable trust is an estate planning tool used by many people, and it's different than a will. The revocable trust is designed to manage your affairs during your lifetime, but also deal with those times when you can't handle your affairs because you're seriously ill or demented, and the day you die. A will just deals with your death. A revocable trust deals with when you're alive as well as when you're gone. Now, how these things work is really not that complex. It's like you're setting up a little business, and what you're going to do is transfer all of your titled assets into the name of that trust. The assets that you transfer into that trust are going to be your house. You're going to put your brokerage account, your stocks, your bonds, your mutual funds in the name of the trust as well. The other assets that you own, you're going to set so that they drop in automatically when you die. I'm talking about your life insurance. You're going to change the beneficiary to be the trust. Your retirement accounts, your IRAs, you're going to change that beneficiary to be the trust. Your bank accounts are going to stay the same, but you're going to fill out a form at the bank that says, make my bank account a paid-on-death account or a POD account. So your checks stay the same, but when you're gone, whoever you've nominated to handle your affairs will go down to the bank with a death certificate, and they'll write a check out to them right away so they can collect the money. A primary reason to use a trust is it avoids going to court. What I'm talking about is a death probate. When someone dies and they have titled assets in their name, we need to probate their estate to get the assets out of the dead person's name and get them where they're supposed to go. When you have a trust, you don't have to go through a death probate. Whoever your successor trustee is, the person you've nominated, they'll file a paper with the court that says that they want to be in charge, and they'll attach a death certificate to that. They're instantly in charge, and then they can sign the deed to sell your home. They go to the broker, they gather up your assets, they pay your bills and distribute it out. It happens quite quickly, and you don't have the oversight of the court. Now, if you become incompetent, mentally or physically can't handle your affairs, then again, we don't have to go to court when you have a trust, because your successor trustee is just going to get a doctor's statement that says you can't handle your affairs. They're going to say they take the job, they file that at the court, they're instantly in charge, usually in 2 to 5 days. If you don't have a trust, they're going to have to petition the court and say you're incompetent, somebody needs to pay your bills and protect your assets. That proceeding usually takes 3 months. They're very expensive, and they have to file annual accounting showing what they're doing with your money. If they refuse to file those annual accountings because they're your spouse and you've been married 50 years, that spouse will be fired and a stranger will be appointed to handle your affairs. So nobody wants to go through those kinds of proceedings, and that's why a trust really works very nicely for lots of people. Another advantage of having a trust is your affairs will stay private. When you die, no one's going to know how much you own, and no one's going to know who gets it and what the terms of the distribution are. When you die using a will, your affairs will be public. Anyone can go to the courthouse and get a copy of your will and the related documents, and they can find out how much you own, what kind of assets you owned, what the bills were, and they can also find out who's receiving your estate and what the terms and conditions of their inheritance are. Most of us don't want that kind of information made public, so it stays private with a trust. Lastly, another feature that's nice in a trust is that you can say that if anybody fights about it, they don't get a dime. That's enforceable in a trust. It's not enforceable in a will.